phone. Where is rubber bands? Peacock hair. Good morning. I can't find the rubber bands. This is day 727 of Captain's Log of cleaning out your workroom. My advice, do it more than once a year. I had so many little setbacks yesterday, but I do see that there's like good in the horizon. I think everything can be done today, but I need to call Steve from Sewing Gold because I bought a kit for the needle positioner for my 1341, and the adapter that goes into the wheel does not fit. So I put the whole entire motor in. I like nailed in the little cube things to get the wires out of the way. So that is the last piece I need to do. Once I'm able to fix that adapter part, then I can put the other two tables right by it and put my trees, because I have a lot of cherry blossom fig trees that light up. They just make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Kendall put up the shelf for my cameo. Good morning, Dalva. And I should be done today. I have to be done today because tomorrow I need to sew with Patreon for our modifying the Annette. So we're going to be doing the exterior. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do like cotton and cork. Like I think I'm going to do some like Ahsoka print with like orange cork that I got from my handmade space. I love her color orange. Um yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I need my room to be able to sew as of tonight. So I have a little bit more to do. It looks like chaos, but I think that everything will look really, really good in a few hours. I just need to call Steve to see if I can figure out this one part to the needle synchronizer. I was able to take off the old engine and put this 1 horsepower engine into my machine, but I'm just missing the adapter. The adapter that I have has like a screw inside my hand wheel. There's a flat. There's no nothing to receive a screw. So there's that. I'm hoping I'm just doing it wrong and he doesn't have to mail me out something, but my gut's telling me that he might have to mail me out something, and or that this machine doesn't need an adapter and I would need to sand down the hole in the hand wheel to fit over the adapter, because it's like about 1/8 of an inch too tight for it to fit. Yeah. So most of the day I was doing that. I was underneath the machine. Good morning. I was underneath the machine doing it. So what my plans are, my big plan is, because my con is in June, which is like less than 6 weeks away. And then I have the retreat that's before the convention is that I want to make 6 major bags. I have a lot of inventory to bring to Awesome Con, but I want to bring 6 major bags that I don't always have the time to make. So one is going to be the Brooklyn. One is going to be the narcissist. The second one will be the narcissist. The third one is going to be the hitchhiker. Um, the other one will be the Sophia from Maggie 55. And then I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for the 5th one yet, or the 6th one. I want like major bags that are like big ticket numbers. And then in between making these major bags, I'll make my favorite wallets to bring to cons are from Sonar, because both of her wallets, she has 3, but her the tall wallet and the one that has like a keychain does really well at my conventions, and I can put them in like all different color corks and just do cam snaps. No, I did not unfortunately have a chance to check out K&A yesterday. I was so busy underneath my So when most people, I don't know if any of you guys have industrials, most people get their industrials like already pre-made. Like everything's ready to go, just get it off the crate. Not me. One, I'm cheap. Two, I'm pretty mechanically inclined. Good morning. I'm pretty mechanically inclined. So what happened is when I got this new brushless servo motor, it's a Conso motor. That motor is bad. Like it is cool. It has some features that my old motor didn't have on there. Yeah. So I'm underneath when you get when you're assembling it the first time, you get videos like if you get it from Sewing Gold, Steve from Sewing Gold. You get videos, right? But if your machine is already built, you have to look at everything backwards. And for some odd reason, my brain was struggling with this yesterday. But and then very much like my middle daughter, I don't like to ask for help. Like my thing is I'm pretty medically if you talk to my dad, he will tell you I would destroy everything as a kid. But I also like to put everything back together. I'm that person that could put in brake pads, fix your axle, all that stuff. I'm that person. But yesterday I was struggling because one, my head was hurting because there was still a storm in the air. And two, I kept looking at the video and and their table's upside down, flipped, putting the stuff in. And mine's is fully erect. So what I'm like, okay, let me go underneath this and do it. And then Kendall thought it was easy. I was like, hey Kendall, I just need you to do one thing for me. I need you to nail in these wire spacers. So they're like little brackets that you place your wires in so it doesn't hit the timing belt and whatever. He struggled for that for about 45 minutes to an hour. He's like, I don't understand. I'm like, it's because we're on our backs hitting up. So your body naturally wants to like protect itself from because you're already down. So it was like hilarious. I thought it was just me, but then when Kendall did it, I'm like, okay, I know it's not me. So this is my plan. I have these are my shoes. I have 65 pieces that I'm bringing to AwesomeCon. But what I usually do is I make anywhere from 7 to 10 big ticket item numbers. Like big ticket, I'm meaning that these bags are over worth $350. Believe it or not, when I go to these conventions, my big ticket bags always sell first. Like always. So, and it's knowing your audience. This particular convention has a lot of celebrities coming. I'm saying we're having Star Trek celebrities, Star Wars. We're having some of the Guardians of the Galaxy. We have like 5 members of the Lord of the Ring crew. We have 3 doctors coming. So it's a big, yeah. So viewing in a mirror, that's Lynette. That's what my husband kept saying. We need to view it in a mirrored image. And we were just like, we were literally struggling. I was like, okay, we're tired. Because we were doing so much. My son's art is at the mall right now. He's the first kid I've ever had that. His art is on display. And then Kendall wasn't feeling good after football practice. He's actually upstairs at home because his throat is up like hurting and scratchy. I'm telling you, when I have a week where there's not one kid, I like literally do the happy. I mean, I'm glad he's able to make the decision. Like, no, I don't feel good enough to go to school. Like they're all at that old age. Cause most of the time they're like, yeah, let's go to school. So I got to call Steve because I'll show you. This is the adapter that you stick inside your wheel, right? And then you put either this screw or another screw, but this has to have something to screw in. There's no screws, no ridges inside my thing. And once you have this put in, you put the adapter on and you unloosen both these screws. And then this is where you're going to start doing needle up or needle down. These 2 screws, you tighten them with an Allen wrench. Weird fun fact about it. If you get this, there are newer ones that light up when they're in position. Like these little things light up. It's pretty cool. So now I have to call Steve and he's in Chicago. So I'm on the floor with you guys by my dresser. You're seeing all the chaos. Yep. Okay. See hollow bags. That's the same thing with me. My thing is that I've always been able to fix my machines. Even when I had the semi-domestic, the TL QVP Mini, when things went wrong, like the Aussie dude was super cool because he's like, most people like just want to send it back to us. They don't want to work it out over the phone. He was like, I am so willing to do this. So we were working it out, doing everything with it to make sure there was no threads caught anywhere. And it was actually, I forgot, it was actually a piece inside the needle bar that was making my machine not sew. So because I had to wind up sending it in once we did the pictures, and he was like, "Oh, there was a manufacturer error for the machines with this serial number to this serial number, and mine fell into it." But then talking to him, that's what actually got me into looking into industrials. It wasn't actually anyone on YouTube. It was a Juki fixer person. He was like, "How often do you sew a day?" And I'm like, anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. And he's like, yeah, you need an industrial. I was like, he's like, these machines are not meant for that many hours on it. I missed everyone. Good morning, Jenny. Mm. Yeah, I've always been super mechanical. I'm a person that likes to take apart watches to see how they work and then put it back together. I'm like I have weird life hacks. Like I'm also a person like so we in college we did like a whole like theme like where we were trying to do Survivor. I'm one of those weird people that if there was like a major emergency, I'm weirdly calm. And then when everything's done, all my adrenaline goes out, and then I usually pass out or faint or whatever. But during the emergency, I am like the best person you have it. But it's like I have such a load of adrenaline in me that I want to like help and I'm calm. But after everything's done, I'm out. I'm out. So I'm just like, I have like weird life hacks, but I could take apart a lot of things and put things together. Um, yeah, my first car I bought was a brand new Ford Focus when the first Ford Focuses came out. There were so many issues with that car, and I was like fixing them by myself because I wasn't really savvy about car warranties and stuff like that because I was like 18. Um, but all I've ever done is fix things. And so my engine is in. I plugged it in. I love the speed control and the reducer and everything. Now I just need to get the needle positioner in and I'll be golden and I'll be very excited. Because I'm excited actually to make I've never made the hitchhiker with the drop-in lining, and I was going through the group's archives, and someone did it that way, and I'm curious how it will turn out. And because I have a free arm now, I want to try it with that. But I'm also going to make the Brooklyn, and I'm thinking I'm making it a Hogwarts style, like making it look like luggage. Generally, I do the hitchhiker like that. So I don't know. I usually try to bring one hitchhiker to a convention because that bag weirdly sews, and I gotta have. I'm going to do the narcissist because I have the material. I just need to have my room be situated. And then the way I figured is I can spend like a whole Saturday or a whole like Saturday and half a Sunday doing that bag and I will be excited. And then during the rest of the week I'll just do smaller projects like I said, key fob wallets, smaller wallets, pouches, so I can have an array of different stuff at my table. Oh, I'm sorry that you have a rough weekend. Yeah, and for an emergency, yeah, I feel like it's slow motion, but I don't know, I feel weirdly calm and like we had a friend like in college we had a friend that decided to do the stupid drinking challenge and she had alcohol poisoning and I knew she had alcohol poisoning and I was the one everyone's like freaking out around her and I'm like let's get her in the car. Okay, I'm gonna call 911 while I'm on the road. And I had like a Roxy phone from like what was it? Was it T-Mobile? Like it I'm like dating myself. It was a really cool Roxy phone. Everybody wanted it in California because it looked really skateboardy. It came out after the two-way pager. Yeah, dating myself. um, so I called 911 while I'm holding the phone, hold and driving, and I was telling her she's not responsive, she's breathing. They were like, keep her seated upright. They had that recline the seat. I made them recline it halfway up so she didn't like, you know. So I don't know. I've always been really weirdly calm, like in earthquakes, tornadoes, weird ass storms, I'm just really calm. And then after everything is said and done, that's when I crash. It's becomes too much for me afterwards. Like even when my son had meningitis, I was up for 3 days, extremely calm, dealing with all the doctor's tests, spinal taps, or whatever. When they told me he was on the mend and that this medicine was going to work because it wasn't bacterial, it was viral, and all that stuff like that, I almost passed out inside the hospital. And they were like, "You've been up for 3 days, ma'am. We've been worried about you." Yeah, weirdly calm. I don't know why. I'm really one of those people that you want on your team because I know how to make things out of nothing. Or like my dad says, I have paper disease. And I'm really weirdly calm in weird situations. I'm sitting on the floor on a yoga mat, just so you know, because you're like, what's behind my dresser? I was sitting there organizing, so all my hardware is organized, all my zippers, and everything is all organized. I still want the jars full of zippers, but I think it would be literally impossible because after I got to 100, I stopped counting my zipper. But see, the thing is I keep zipper tapes that are even 6 inches. Like, I will not throw away, as I have kept zipper tapes that are 3 inches and I used them as like tabs on the side of pouches. I do not like throwing that away. And Kendall's like, yeah, we gotta have to get rid of some of this stuff. And I'm like, no, I can use it all. Yeah, total MacGyver, ain't it? Like, I'm weird. And like my kids do it too. They're like, now they're the one skill that they got from me is like weirdly MacGyver and stuff. So like Hope locked Faith into the downstairs, like, okay, so to get out of this, you have to go upstairs. There's a door. Instead of locking, you only could lock it from the inside. But Hope found out because she heard a story that me and Calissa were talking about. My sister is named Calissa. She took a whole bunch of pennies and shoved them in the door, and it locks somebody out. Like if you put pennies by the hinges and by the doorknob, a person can't get out. And she was dying laughing. Like I was like, when I hear that little maniacal laugh, I know Hope is doing wrong. And you can hear Faith, let me out, and you have to get all the pennies out. But like it was something that we used to do to each other because my dad had nobody could lock the door in a room in the wherever we live. So we learned different pranks to prank on people. Locking someone in through pennies is the most funniest thing ever. I know, no glass jars. That Kindle, I was like, Kindle, I want glass jars. And he was like, yeah. Okay, and he was kind of right, because as we moved this from over here, my cutting table was in the middle. And I kind of agree with him now. When these two tables come over here to meet this one, I'm going to have a whole lot more room in this room. It's going to be feel freer. When we moved this table, there was like a couple glass jars, and he was like, "And you want glass jars?" I'm like, "I can't help it if things break, man." Oh yeah, except I'm also really good in a situation with when I'm afraid of stuff like snakes and stuff. I'm weirdly good at it. And then when everybody's gone and everyone's safe and we're in safety, that's when I totally freak out. It'd be like, I want to smack her. She needs to calm the heck down. Oh yeah, no. I came on a little bit earlier because Kendall is home. He's not feeling good. His throat's hurting. I mean, I'm telling you, this spring is already messing with my kids. Like last week, we had like 3 days that were 85 to 90. This week, the highest temperature is going to be 59. I think one day 65. And I'm like, this is why everyone's getting sick. You're like going outside with like a tank top, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the next day you wake up, it's 32 degrees in the morning. You're like, what? What is going on right now? Stupid climate control. Oh, thank you, Christine. I try to be a good mom. I don't feel like I am most of the time because I'm matter of fact, and I'm not a coddler. Like Kendall is the parent that the kids go to for affection. They come to me for like life. I think things that are going wrong because I speak matter of fact and I don't judge them on stuff. If that makes sense. They'll come to me to watch like movies. They'll come to like laugh or just talk, but I'm not a very affectionate person. unless you're a damn dog. I don't know why. They're like, oh my God. Loki. So Loki's really mad that he has his balloon back on his head, right? So yesterday he barely seen me because I was downstairs cleaning. So I was upstairs on in my room, and Kendall was letting him out to eat dinner. And instead of going to dinner, he ran upstairs and like jumped on me. He was just hugging me and like putting his neck roll over my face. And apparently the doctor says that's him marking you, and that's the way he's showing you he loves you, by suffocating me. He did that for like 15 minutes. I was trying to tap out. It wasn't happening. And like he gets, if he doesn't see me for more than an hour, like that dog totally freaks out. Um, and he has an attitude with Kendall right now because Kendall was the one all this weekend that was sticking him back in the cage, and it wasn't me. So he was like legitimately having an attitude, and like I thought it was just me that seen it, but then Hope was like, "No, that dog won't even look Kendall in the eyes right now." He's like, "Yeah, thanks." But on tomorrow's the last day for the cone, and then he can have his cone, like the pillow cone, off. So I think once he has that off, he'll feel better, even though he has to be still like in his kennel for an additional 5 days. But and it's good because those people, we have the stair people coming in on Wednesday. I don't know what time. I need to figure out the time. And I still need to go get waters and like ginger ale or Gatorades or something. So that way if they're thirsty they can just, grab one. Ok, so, like, I lived in California, and whenever we would go for hikes, we would see rattlesnakes. Like, I have a boatload of rattlesnake stories. Every single time that it was, like, a bad experience, I'm so calm, and then, like, once that situation's over, I'm, like, 5 seconds away from passing out. But it was at to the point where I was hiking so much with in this particular trail that like you just barely everyone knows you grab a stick and you just fling them off to the side. Somehow my friend flinged one and it didn't fling off the stick. So when he brought it back, it just brought it 10 feet closer, like a couple feet closer to us. And now it's pissed because it was trying to get flinged. Let's just say we were in a standoff position, like the triangle standoff position, for about 15 minutes before another hiker came from behind and flinged the snake. That was super intense, not moving one muscle in your body for like 15 minutes. And orcas, yeah. Those people don't trust them. They're so smart. People are not getting it. They are smart. They're part of the dolphin family. Dolphins are the smartest species. And who is their brother and sister? Orca. So, yeah. I like Pee-wee too. Oh my god, Big Adventure was like so good. Like I try to have my kids watch Pee-wee Playhouse. One, they were freaked out that Lawrence Fishburne was the cowboy. They were like, "That's the guy from Matrix." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I always forget about that." Two, he was like, and they didn't like Michael Jackson. They didn't think he's weird. I was like, "Okay, look, I get it. Pee Wee Herman does kind of give like a Michael Jackson feel. Like I get, but they're two different. They're two different things." And I was like, he was like, my kids were like, "Yeah, your role models as a kid weren't the best." I was like, "Awesome." Just like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is now vintage. I'm just, I like she every and then she's watching and she's like, she has questions. I'm like, oh, it's so old. I don't know if I can remember the answer to your question. I mean, I can't. I've watched like Buffy like a bazillion times. I feel old. I feel like I didn't feel old until Faith said that. And I'm like, and then I felt old because she's like, "Hey, I want you." She wants me to make her homecoming dress and her prom dress this year, and I was like, "Fine, we'll do it." So I found this really beautiful material that is like iridescent and like Faith. She's one of those people because she tans really nice. If you put like a little shimmer, like she like she glitters like a freaking unicorn. Um, and then every dress I picked out, she was like, "That's really old. Like only old people will like it." Oh, mom, you don't have any wrinkles yet, but I think you're old. Oh, I wanted to throw her out the window. I don't think I called my mom old. I think I made insinuations when I was younger that that is old school and we no longer do it. But now I regret that I did that to her. Yeah, Loki and Roxy are like a human. Roxy's like she goes 0 to 100 real quick. Like she's hilarious because like it takes a lot for her to like you. Um and Loki he's spoiled. Call a spade a spade. He is super spoiled. And he's super spoiled by everyone in the house. Like, let me give you an example. Everyone's like, ignore him, let him be in the crate. Hope hears him bark or whine no matter where she is in the house. She'll go into because the crate is this big. She can go into the crate, she brings her laptop, her phone, and she'll just sit there so that he doesn't cry or whine or bark. I'm like, he can be okay. And if she's not doing it, then Faith's doing it. And if Faith's not doing it, Kendall's doing it. All he has to do is bark twice, and one of my kids will be like, I'll lay with you. It's okay. And I'm like, he's in the same room as you. He has his own little mini apartment within our living room. Okay? Yeah. Or like Hope peeling potatoes and chopping up it and mixing it with sweet potatoes and then just giving it to the dog. I'm just like, he just ate. He just ate and he gained like 4 or 5 pounds from the last visit. I'm like, you guys need to stop feeding. He's a good size, okay? Yeah, the flying snakes. No, I'm sure. No, the flinging. Okay, because everyone knows you fling them in California. Everyone does it. Everyone grabs a stick, and that's the first thing you do out there. But the weirdest snake story I had, and it like I don't trust baby snakes at all, okay? Like at all. Leave that shit to the birds. I'm going to run. I'm going to run because they can't regulate their poison. So we were at a place they have this place called Glamis in California, and we found this really, really small, secluded place that was right off this creek. We threw the blanket down. We were like a party of 6. We threw the blanket down. We were having our Coronas, blasting our music in the boombox. Yeah, I said boombox. So we were blasting the music, we're having fun, we're like making jokes, trash talking each other, whatever. So one of my friends, Jason, decides to lay down onto the blanket and he's asleep, he's knocked out. We're like putting you guys ever done this, like if someone's laying down on their back and they have their shirt off and you draw certain stuff in with sunscreen, so when they get up they're all golden tan, except they have like now a sunburn that or suntan tattoo. Do it, try it on one of your kids. It's the most hilarious thing ever. It only lasts a couple of weeks, they'll be fine. So again, if you want pranks, go to this person. So he was asleep, so we were driving like, oh, I love, like I forgot the girl that he liked at the time, this person, and we did it with the SPF 50. So we got up. He's like, yeah, am I burned? I'm like, no, not at all. But you should have your shirt off all day long. We're about to go tubing, right? So he gets up. He does like this thing where he gets up and he kind of like, he goes from like what is it, cobra pose or not, and to go to downward dog, and he jumps up. But he starts screaming. He was asleep on a baby rattlesnake. So when he moved his hands up, it jostled the position and it bit him in his hand. He had to get airlifted out. I have never had to run so fast because we had no cell phone service. So I'm like running until we get service. I fell down a million times. I had so many bumps, bruises, and cuts on my hand, but the baby's rattlesnake kept biting him. So one of the other friends had to go around, hold the snake's mouth, and then he was freaking out because you can't just like fling it because it can come back and bite your hand. So he's holding the snake actually the whole time. And actually the helicopter control people actually appreciate it because there's different kind of rattlesnakes in California, and they were able to determine and give him the best medicine because of the fact that we had the snake. That's 18. So a lot of stuff happened. First, we had 3 people that were like, don't call the police or whatever because we're 18 drinking. I didn't listen to that. I didn't care because if I get in trouble I'm not living with my parents. So if I get in trouble, it's on me. I want to make sure this person's okay. His hand immediately swelled up. He was like, I feel nauseous. I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint. And so I was running in like chanclas, flip flops, all the way up this hill to get serviced. Then I ran all the way down because they told me to go down because they were able to track my cell phone exactly where we were. And he had to get airlifted out. Super fun times. Yeah, boombox with my CD players. No, we were able to put our iPod shuffle on top of it. Yeah. Do they even make iPod shuffles anymore? Oh, hell no, Jen. I'll be like, your mama. I just would probably just say no. I get, you know what's weird is I get Faith and I look a lot alike. But when I tell people I have a soon to be 18-year-old, they're like, "Oh, you had her in your teens?" And I'm like, "No." Like, no worries to the parents that did. I don't know if I'm supposed to take this as a compliment or no, but no. I was like 26. I was, yeah. Yeah, that was a OS moment. It was. It was like that. There's a lot of stupid things. There are so many accidents and incidents that happen in Glamis. It's not even funny. And Coachella. Yeah, for all the kids out there that are going to it now, I was at the OG Coachella. What? So, yeah, Coachella was a hot mess, but it was fun. Good times. There's like moments I don't remember certain parts of the day, and I think I was just drinking and doing other stuff. But again, I believe in kids having rite of passage, and I had a lot of fun. I worked really hard in school. I had 2 jobs to pay my college tuition and my rent. I basically lived off of hot dogs and cup of noodle diet for 4 years of school. Um, and then when I had fun, I had fun. California is a great place to be a teenager or a young adult during the summer. There's just so much stuff available to. But yes, I have a lot of weird rattlesnake stories and mountain lions, man. This is why I don't camp. Like we had a weird incident with a mountain lion during camping, and I'm not a campy guru, but I knew we should have put our food and had it up a tree. And the people that I was with were like, no, we do it all the time. Follow your instincts, kids, if you're watching. Very weird mountain now, but a lot of snake things. No snake encounters in Arizona. And I will go hiking with my friend Michelle, and Faith will go with us, and we would just hike, and I never seen any. Um, Probably am happy I didn't. I do not like hiking in Arizona. That heat and that sun is real. Like, it doesn't get overcast. It's like forever bright. And the thing is I love it because of that. It's like I think they were saying that there's less people depressed in Arizona than a lot of other states because it's super bright. Um, but yeah, that heat, man, that's the devil's playground. Nope. What the heck, Christine? Why did it get to why would he let a baby rattler bite his mouth? Was he trying to impress somebody? I need to know. Or was he like, look what I can do? I, I could put a rattlesnake by my mouth. Like, I feel like a 5-year-old will know not to do that. I still have my iPod too, but like I remember something saying that they're not going to be making them or something. I'm thrown off by Christine's story about back in the day. I had a friend that had a baby rattler and bit him on his lip, and he almost died. Like, why was it that close to his face? Was he holding it? Was he asleep? And then the snake was like, "Guess what? I'm gonna bite you on your lip." That's just such a weird place to get bit. I don't camp. I won't. Kendall was like, "Oh, we'll just take you glamping." No. First of all, mosquitoes love me way too much. Second of all, I always have weird encounters that can be like those are my Crocs. They keep squeaking on the wood floor. They can they keep I just have weird encounters with weird animals. Like when my brother almost passed out when he seen a deer touching his hand. I always have like I have like this weird Snow White moments where like animals want to come around me and I'm like they don't understand. I'm afraid of most of them. So, please, please don't come around me. Yeah. Oh, that's another story. So I kept telling Kendall we have bears in Columbia, Maryland. He was like, no, we don't. So they had like this whole expose this past winter that my dad lives about a mile and a half away from us, and a half a mile away from him is just like green. And they found all these caves and there are bears inside of them. And he was like, I did not know. And I'm like, yeah. Because we were talking, it got into a weird topic because we're talking about, have you seen what a bear looks like without any fur? It is it looks like a hellhound. It is the scariest thing. It looks like an oversized dog. And so we were talking about, I was like, yeah, it sucks that we have bears here because I'm always worried about my dad because my dad likes to walk a lot of trails and there's a lot of trails in Maryland. And you can still find like old bullet shells from different wars and all this stuff. Like that's Maryland, right? And I'm like, I'm always worried when he walks into these trails across this way. And he's like, we don't have bears. I'm like, yeah, we do. Yeah. Cocaine bear. I want to see that movie so bad. Kendall was like, why do you want to see that? I'm like, it's based on a true story. Like, you can't get any better than this. How did that bear live? Like, I want to, you know what I'm going to do probably while I'm like, fixing and cleaning my room is like try to find YouTube stories, like if someone pulling out old archives of the video. There has to be new broadcaster be like, yes. And this, what did you say, Al? There is a bear that has a pack of cocaine and he inhaled all of it. He had kilos in him. I don't understand how he's alive. Yeah, I want to see Cocaine Bear so bad. Just purely because it's based off a true story. Like, and then it has like a really good all-star cast. It's sad. Like, was I read the real story? I'm just curious how that bear lived. Like, have they experimented with other bears and cocaine? Because that he had like not like a little puffs, little smelling of the powder fairies. He inhaled the whole damn powder village. So I'm like, I want to see it. I didn't even ditch school on senior ditch day because I was terrified of my mom. My mom, like, she had like spider senses when it comes down to me. When I did something wrong, she always knew. Like always. So I didn't ditch in high school and like college I didn't do because I like the way my college classes were, like I was like 4 days of school and then 3 days off. But no, not high school. I always wish I did senior ditch day and everybody was gone except me. I was such a loser. But it was like go or be or and pay the consequences with your mom or not go and not have any consequences. I was like, I don't want to my mom is a terrifying person. I think she could break like the toughest person. They need to have her in the whatever MI5 or whatever to break people because she could do it. She's to this day, if I'm face to face with her, I cannot lie to her. She knows every single time. Yeah, naked bears are creepy. I tried like I was so that's how the conversation went. Like about how do we have bears. I was like, have you seen a naked bear before? Because this is me. My Kindle will be talking about, oh, I got you some new coffee grinds and they're from Puerto Rico, da da da. And I'll be like, oh, have you seen a naked bear before? And he's like, you're ADHD mine. I just can't sometimes. And he was like, what? And I was like, they look like hellhounds. He's like, no one's actually seen one. I'm like, okay, look, this is what I envision what they look like. So when he seen it, he was like, that's not a bear. I'm like, dude, that's a bear with no fur. And he was like, that is terrifying. Kind of like an owl. Like when you see an owl with no feathers, it's just like, or fur, you're like, hard pass on you. You're ugly. Sorry. Oh no. Yeah, Jenny. Okay, so I have a friend that her mom lives in Syracuse, and she has like CT footage around her whole entire farm. And they also are beekeepers. They make their own like waxes and all like that. Every night there you can see like when bears try to get in, and even when like baby bears and stuff like that. And I want to hug a baby bear so bad. I know it will kill me in the process, but they're so damn cute. Like, so baby bears are so cute. And I've liked Winnie the Pooh, right? Because Pooh's like the most docile, like kind of dim-witted character, right? And he's like, you're like, so other bears are really like this, right? You're, damn you, Disney. Like, I don't know. Every time I see a baby bear, Kendall's like, no. Just let me hug it. My hair is doing this weird peacock thing. Just don't mind it. It knows I'm going to do something different to it, so it's acting a donkey. Good morning. Okay, so my mom, yeah, like I kind of got it for Faith, but not because sometimes she does something and it literally scares me because I'm like, I know her, and then I'm like, okay, I don't know her. My mom knew everything, like everything. Like I don't. It's like she had, and there was like I don't know. It's like she paid people to spy on me. I have no idea how my mom knew everything I've ever done. No, I would get in fights in school because of my sister. Like I've never actually physically got in a fight over me because I'm like kind of like, oh, whatever. You don't like me, you make fun of me, whatever. Cool, right? But there was this rule: if Calissa got in a fight and there was more than two people, and I was around and I didn't say anything or didn't help, then I would have to deal with my mom. So I'll be like, oh. And my sister is the person that pops off at the mouth like no other. Like, you're looking at me wrong? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, you know I'm gonna have to do this. So why are you doing this? So yeah. Yeah. I got in a lot of fights in school, but never one fight was about me. My sister. I was so happy I had two brothers because if I had another sister that was like Calissa, she's like the funniest, coolest person you've ever met as an adult. But as a child, you would want to punch her in the face. She was just like she was just down for fight, like she was Mike Tyson. I have no idea why. She was really aggressive at a very young age, and then she kind of mellowed out as she got became older, and then she became a mom. She mellowed out, but she still is kind of feisty, a little bit cray cray. Um, if she got in a fight now, would I jump in? No, I would just call the police. Yeah, that being the oldest out of the four of us, I feel like um there's like a real responsibility that you have to have for your siblings, and I don't think parents understand that role that they put on you. And yeah, it wasn't the best. Okay, I need to take the time. I know I need to. I'll probably try to see if I can rent it from Amazon or something tonight. Please don't. I'm not gonna do it. But you see those people like don't on my TikTok feeds or well, I'm sorry, I'm an adult. I watch reels on my reels feed. When I see people messing with tiger paws, like I'm always intrigued, but I wouldn't do it. Like I can't like I don't want to touch an animal that I know can kill me, like an orca. Don't pet Shamu. I'm still mad that they made me pet his tongue. Like I told them I'm afraid of that was another time I fainted. I did touch his tongue, and then I fainted. Yeah. I was I don't know. Because my mom had this that if any of your siblings get hurt, you're responsible. And I'm just like, we don't even go to the same school. I'm in high school and this person's in middle school. Yeah. And my siblings love to like stir the pot. And I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah. Have a great day, Lynette. Yeah. My sister was like that. She grew out of it a little bit. I don't know, because sometimes even when she came up in here. We were just like hanging and we go to the mall. She'll be like, "What are you looking at, ladies?" And I'm like, "Why are you causing drama when there doesn't like, yeah. I don't know why she's like that. But she does have a big heart. She in something she has a big heart. Like she's a person that likes to work at a lot of shelters, like homeless shelters, women's shelters, to help them get back on their feet. She is really active in her church. She is active in her kids' after school curriculum activities. Like my nephew is going to like some architect and engineering schools during the summer. She's a good mom. She's a really good mom. She loves her boys with all her heart. She's just a little crazy. I mean, she's just, but she's good. She's good people. She'll do your if you're in her family and friend circle, she'll ride or die. She's just a good person like that. Just I don't like this. We have completely different things. Like if I go in the mall, I'm trying not to get anyone's attention. I'm going there for a very specific thing, and that's it. If I walk around, it's just to get exercise. I don't care to make friends. I don't like making direct eye contact with people. um, she's just the polar opposite of me, which is weird because both of my parents are very have very assertive and aggressive personalities. Um, and my dad, he's actually really chill until he's not. That's when everyone runs because like he's like the coolest cat. Like he's very chill. But then if you get him to that point where he's not, that it's just whatever. My mom is just like 0 to 100. Like there's nothing in between. So, and I think it's because they're short. That's what I'm thinking. That's all I could come up with. My mom's 5 foot nothing. She's like, I'm 5 foot 1.5. Not even with Nikes on. Not even with hook shoes on. Just like 5 foot nothing. And my sister's like, I think 5'3". I'm 5'9", so that's just my perspective as a tall person. Good morning, DC. Then you're feeling our beautiful weather right now. You should be. It's really pretty outside. It's chilly, a little nip in the air, but it's nice. Oh, I look forward to meeting you too. Oh, we have some groups over here. Well, you guys, Nicole from New Moxie's coming. We're gonna have some fun. She has the most amazing personality. She is so funny, and I like the way she delivers jokes. Like she's good peeps. You see, I don't it takes a lot for me. I get angry. I can get jealous. I can be envy. All these are normal things, but I'm also like a person that will I think Dalva knows. I automatically will bring it back to me and like try to do reflection of how I can change something with me and not the other person. Like I'll tell Dalva, I'll be like, this person's doing this, but I think it's because I did this. Like, I don't know. I don't want to stir the pot because it's so easy for people to misconstrue everything that you say, do, whatever, especially if it's during and like on Facebook, because no one knows your tone or what you're feeling behind the message. I think I can come off as sarcastic, and I don't really. You guys get a lot of me who people that watch me on Captain's Log, or that are part of the Patreon, or just watch my YouTube videos. You can kind of get a gist of my personality, and then if I met you at So Magical, you kind of get that I'm kind of an introvert. I giggle a lot, whatever. But I think when you're writing, people don't know how you come across. And I think most of the time I come across as probably like a butthead or something. And I don't share a whole bunch of myself on Facebook or Instagram. Um, so people are not knowing me unless they watch Captain's Log and they're like, oh, you're so different from what I thought. I'm like, I get that a lot. So I'm like, am I coming across like a mean girl? Because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just really quiet and reserved. Yes. And when I do say it on Facebook, they'll be like, there'll be weird comments. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't share much because I feel like people like the real talk. So when I talked to Lauren to do the video with me, with about like Comic Cons. I've been wanting to do that because there's not a lot of us that talk about our Comic Con experiences. It's mostly like small shows or whatever, but then a lot of people want to get into it. And I was my first thing I said to Lauren was like, I know I'm not very active on Facebook. I'm not like, oh, I like this or whatever. I'm like, I'm really short and to the point, and I don't try to actually speak unless it's absolutely necessary. And she's like, wait, that's how I am too, though. I was like, okay, I'm glad it's just not me. So, yeah, like I want to, like, I don't know. I don't know, like, and I always want to comment on people that legitimately have questions. Like I seen something earlier today. I don't know if it was in creative bag making or so whatever, and I wanted to respond to it. There was a person, and I'm curious to see what you guys will ask. So there's a person that bought a bag from somebody, and within 3 days, there was. It looked like the person took a fire, some kind of fire tool, and there was like a hole of like burnt vinyl. And I was yes, and I'm like, I was actually reading the comments because I was waiting for to hear someone say, "This is why I don't use vinyl," and I'm like, I'm gonna roll my eyes sarcastically, right? And then so I'm like, what would you do? What do you do? Because I do offer a warranty. I've had some where I had rivets pop off of something because you never know. You may get a bad batch of rivets. I've had actually a batch of rivets from Tandy Leather. That's a whole nother story. So what do you do? Because at the point is that is on the zipper panel. So you would literally need to take apart the whole bag and like reconstruct it, which can compromise the stitching because you're perforating over holes. So it's better for you to redo it. So I was reading some of the comments. Some of the comments were like, offer her to remake it for 50% off. Go tell the manufacturer or the place that you got the vinyl from. I actually thought that was a good one, especially if she bought it from a small business, because it might be beneficial that other people know that this vinyl can do this. Also, get the bag back. You, as a bag design like maker, you could tell if someone put flames to it or was the top coat of the bag pilling before you put the bag together. I've had that happen too with certain vinyls. Um, and I was just like, I wanted to give advice that if this person's going to buy from you in the future, remake the bag. If you have the materials, remake the bag, but definitely request that old bag back. And I would request it back to see, was it something that was not of this person's, like 3 days. They had the bag for 3 days. So unless they had like a lighter on it, I have no idea what would make that hole. Unless that bag was dragged on bricks. But I feel like if it was dragged, you would see other areas within that have some kind of some kind of some kind of abrasion marks. You would see other nicks and scratches throughout the bag. So I'm curious. It looked, I don't know, it looked like someone just took the lighter and was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there was black marks. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Sandra's amazing. Sandra does a lot of things. I like anyone that teaches the kids how to sew because I feel like that should be brought back into school because you learn math, you learn about planning, and you have to learn like one reflexes, two to be patient, and you have to become hyper focused when you're using these machines. I think these are all good traits that kids need in their life. Math a lot because I think people don't realize how much math we use, and for you designers like hollow bags, you guys use a whole lot more math than I do, but there's a lot of math that goes into what we do. She scrubbed it. I would place it too. See, I thought I would get the bag back and replace it. Here's why. Most of 50% of my income that I get back are people that are repeat buyers that are just repeat because I have a 1 year warranty for hardware and parts. And if something happened, I've never had any of the vinyls fray, which, let me knock on some wood. I've never had any of like the strapping webbing fray because I keep seeing that a lot too. I'm wondering if it has something to do with the pigments. Hear me out. So like with natural webbing, it has to be with cotton woven, it has to be dyed or whatever, but to get polyester to color fast and stay in it's a lot more heat and a lot more, I don't know. I just feel, and the seat webbing, a lot of people are getting a lot of, I've been seeing a lot of issues on that too. Like I had to explain, I was trying to explain to someone, I'm not really good. I'm not a wordsmith. I have a really good friend that's like, I have two good friends that are wordsmiths and I'm jealous of them. They're amazing. But somebody was asking, how do you punch a hole through seatbelt webbing? And I was trying to explain without explaining that you kind of need to solder the hole, but it came across super weird because whenever I don't, you guys already know I'm not a big fan of seatbelt webbing. But I do kind of do solderize the hole. I think I might have the tool behind me. Hold on. So that way it cannot fray. Of course, the webbing. I use I know I have it in here. I have like all my glue guns and stuff in here. Okay, I use a small tool that I can't find right now, and it gets really, really hot. It looks like a mini iron, curling iron, like so if you were to do ringlets, except it's a little soldering iron I got for like $5 at I don't know, like I think I got it at like a secondhand store, and I literally get that. You plug it in, I get it up warm, and it cauterizes the whole of the rivet, and then I don't have any issues with it. But I feel like if you don't hit heat, it can start unraveling. I've seen that a lot lately. But I do recommend people, if there is if something happens to the bag within like the first 2 months, to replace it, because that person might now be a lifer. And there was a really good story in there too. A lady said that she bought a Dooney & Bourke purse and something went wrong with the wallet within like the first 3 months. Dooney & Bourke were like, we'll give you a new one, just pay 50% of what it costs and give us the old one back. And she said ever since then, it's been like 20 or 30 years, they have like a lifelong customer because of that. So think of that way. Yes, it might be out of a little bit of money and that sucks. But what if word of mouth travels fast? So if you replace this and she goes to her like church, or she goes to her friend's house, and or she talks to, I don't know, her book club or fellow teachers or whatever, they'll be like, oh yeah, your bag is cute. Yeah, she's more willing to give out your information because you were willing to replace it. That's my take. You replaced it too, Jenny. Yeah, math is evil. You know what? It's not you, Christine. I suck at sewing on new machines. Like it takes me a good like 5 to 10 minutes to figure out a new machine. Um, Ask Monica at So Magical Florida. She was like, "Hey, Shinova, help me sew these on the fly bags." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And she brought her baby lock, and I was like, "All right. Um, do you have a Teflon foot? No. Do you have your walking foot here? No." And I'm like, okay. Things that I use on a domestic machine she did not have. And I was using what was I somebody was in the classroom with me and they were laughing because I was using like needle packs for my hump jumpers in the back of the she didn't have any of it. So they were like, here's your hump jumper. You can use this hump jumper right now. And they were like, I'm just glad I seen you sew on a domestic. I've always seen you sew on an industrial. I'm like, I do have videos where I'm on a domestic, but it's hard to bring them down here because I don't have a table. Like the table for industrial, by the time I put a domestic on it, I'll just be knocking things over. So she was laughing and I was like, she see me change needles when I did the lining and everything. And she was like, okay, well, you did it. I'm like, yeah, it would have been so much easier if I had a walking foot and or a Teflon foot. And there was no tape. No one had clear tape to put on the bottom of the composition fit. I was like, oh yeah. And her baby lock automatically back stitches 3 stitches off. And for some odd reason, my brain could not compute this. So I would always line it up the foot to the material and it will backstitch off the machine. And I'm like, oh shit. I hate this machine with all my heart. Oh, that's, see, we're making friends. And I know Sandra's probably going to take us to a really cool place for dinner to go out and all eat. I got to get some North Carolina barbecue something. I don't know what it is. Just something. Yep. Hump jump save lives and saves machines. Yeah. Ginny, I'm telling you, she was like, yeah, make it. I brought my baby lock. I was like, now she has a Juki mini TLQ, whatever she got from So Magical Texas. So I'm hoping if she needs me to sew anything for Florida, she brings that so that way I know how to use those machines. I was like, shut. I was I couldn't get it because like I'm so used to the industrial just putting the fabric right before the needle and it just kept sewing off. And I'm like, how do I stop this feature? And they're like, oh, that's how it is. And then I thought it was like my embroidery. If I hit my back pedal, it will no, no. And I was like, I hate you, baby lock. I would Hulk smash. It took me like 3 hours to make 2 freaking pouches. And it wasn't just because I didn't have the right tools. We decided to use meaning Monica, decided to use the lace vinyl for the side panels. Yeah. And then I'm one of those people that I have to butterfly open the stitch seams and then stitch down. So yeah, I just on the fly should be named something like different. Definitely use a Teflon foot, or a walking foot with tape underneath of it. I was, mm-mm, mm-mm. And I think the biggest needle she had on hand was 9014. I was like, are you kidding me? She's catering lunches, but she's going to put together something where we all want to go out to eat. We pay for our own meals, but she'll do like she'll use the van that she's going to take us to Tandy Leather with, so we all can go to dinner or something. Yeah, 100%. Like new machines and me, I'm like, okay. I believe in learning curves, and you got to get used to your machine so you can get that. Like it's like dancing. You got to fill your partner out so you can do it right. But like everything that all the tools that I use for a domestic machine were not available to me, and it was just I did it nonetheless. It happened with no skip stitches. But was I frustrated? Yes. Like so frustrated. And then I don't know why I didn't move the stitches up to 4. I was at a 3.5 the whole time. It wasn't that thick, but that lace has so much texture to it that some areas are thicker than others. So there's that. So yeah, all I'm doing today is first things first is getting a hold of Steve, getting that done, and then I'm organizing my room, which is almost completely done. I just have to move everything back around and then clean up this, and I will be done. Oh my, I think that's all a part of the learning process, to be honest with you. I always, whenever I see a new machine, whether it's an industrial or domestic, I have some reservations because you're used to what you sew on, you know? Um, like I struggled on my friend's Viking. Like I was like, I love the stitching, but like it was like when I'm straight stitching, I just let it fly. Like no matter what machine I'm on, I just let it fly. And the way it flew, I was like, I can see every stitch. Like this is the slowest machine ever. She was like, it's on the fastest setting, Shanova. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's slow. I know we get to oh yeah, we're gonna get a tour. Hopefully I'm hoping this week because I think I'm trying to get that done because I don't know what I'm gonna be. I have my the drop length video, which Kendall just needs to edit. We've been spring cleaning hard. We usually do spring cleaning like in March, but like I said, anyone that's in the DC area, March was like flipping cold. So we're doing it now. and we're spring cleaning hard. And then our new sofas underneath it has storage, so we're putting all the kids' winter clothes in certain ones and washing things and putting them up. And I'm not like, the spring cleaning just feels so extra to me. I don't know why. Oh, see, I'm like that too. I weirdly can get machines to work. But yeah, that baby lock, even though it had beautiful stitches and it had the, I didn't, okay, so if you're gonna do the electric cutter, like you're gonna cut off the thread, can you get as close as you can to the stitch? Because if I still have to use scissors to cut, then what was the point? So, what was the point, machine? Yeah, I love me a Bernina. Oh God, yeah. My favorite machine is the 1008. The captain, I'm trying to do a captain's log all this week. I don't know what time they're coming, so that should be interesting. If tomorrow, Wednesday's the first day they come, I'm trying to do it. They're going to be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and they'll be gone on Sunday. So I will not be able to. I don't know how I'm going to film. Um, but try to do captain logs also when I'm at the retreat, as well as when I'm at AwesomeCon, because I should have both my daughters. So hopefully they can film and you could see how I have my setup and all that stuff. And then I'm going to have either Hope or Faith film, so that way it could be a video, like different things that I do, tips and tricks. I don't know how many machines I have, Christine. I have like a lot. I use mostly my industrial. I do use my two major domestics. One because one embroiders and the other one, the Bernina. Like, I don't know, when I make clothes, that is my go to machine. Like, I like to use the Juki 5550N to just swip out the feet for light feet, especially if I'm making like silk bonnets or whatever. But yeah, so usually mostly I like the Bernina because the zigzag stitch is like perfect, like perfect. Yeah, at the retreat, I'm gonna definitely try to do captain's log. It depends on what time I'm flying in. It might be like captain's log afternoon edition, because I usually try to take my flights earlier so I could check in to a hotel and um, like grab snacks and throw them in my fridge in my hotel room. Yeah, like because I've I eat, anyone that's been on any kind of retreat or any kind of like theme going away, like you don't eat at normal time. So I like to have like orange juice and all that stuff like that inside my room, hotel room, in the little fridge area, so that way I can drink my orange juice and or have iced coffees or whatever. And yeah. You're on a wait list for what, Jenny? I'm trying to go back and see. For featherweight. I know featherweights are so pretty. Like every time I see one in a class, I'm like, can I touch your machine? And featherweight, yeah, they're pretty. I'm trying to remember the lady's name. She had like a beautiful one, and it was in a potted, like a brick and mortar kind of pot thing. Holy, that thing! She made that persimmon so fast, and the stitches were so impeccable. And I was just like, wow. I have a Rocketeer. That's the oldest one I have, and I have like a Kenmore that was Kendall's grandmother's. Um, but no, I don't have any featherweights or anything. If I get another sewing machine, my husband's probably gonna blow his leg gasket. Like, where are we gonna put it, Shinova? Where are we gonna put it? I was he I was messing with this Trindle one, and he was like, "No." I was like, "This can go in my bedroom." And he's like, "No, no." And he's like, realistically, when you're going to use it? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you can't cosplay Briar Woods. I'm like, look, okay. You know me a little too well, because that's exactly what I was thinking when I was on here. So, but no, yeah, I have the. I'm trying to think. Um, I don't think I actually need another machine at all. I mean, I have like pretty much everything I could possibly want. I don't think I need anything at this point. I always need more vinyl and I always need more waterproof canvas and cottons, but that's it. It's mostly fabrics and like replacement of tool like marking tools. I swear to you that some marking tools are a complete hit and the other ones are like, oh, you suck so hard. Yeah. I want a trundle, but I wanted to do it and have like a cosplay of Briar Woods. Don't ask. It's a weird thing. I did it one at the Sheep and Wool Festival when they had the spindle as a thing. I kept trying to touch the needle, and she's like, "Everyone tries to do that, ma'am." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, don't bring it then, okay?" I want to go to the Sheep and Wood Festival, Wool Festival, because they have this guy. He makes these Gandalf staffs, and that's exactly what I'm going for. Every time someone comes into my room, like a worker or a friend, they totally freak out because it's like an adult Toys R Us, and they're just like, what can I touch? The guy that's fixing the window, he's like, can I touch the black saber? I'm like, no, you only can fight and duel for the black saber. Since I have it, do you want to duel me? And he could not stop laughing. Um, yeah, I mean, we found out later that you can technically give it. But yeah, my room is like full of wands or fire guys from Labyrinth or door knockers or um weird stuff. And so like every time someone comes down here, they're like, "Oh my god." Or like when we had the electrician person, I have the paper lanterns from Rapunzel up there, and I have clouds and they're remote control, and you can make the clouds like look like they're a thunderstorm or bright and sunny. And they're like, "What the? Where did you get this?" I'm like, "I like unique toys." Yeah. Superior Threads, I don't know what they do to theirs, but that thread is so beautiful. It like I never have any issues with it. I would say we're making the sandhill sling. There's not a lot of interfacing because we're doing wax canvas. There's, so you're at the heaviest point, you're gonna go through 4 layers of like wax canvas, and that's like I don't even really think you're going through that. It doesn't need a lot of things. When we do the applique, we're gonna probably see we could do like a leather applique. That will be the heaviest, but again, you're going through one layer of thin leather and then like wax canvas. Oh, there's a lot of fiber shows I've been looking at. Once you put it like once on your Google thing, it becomes on your feed in Facebook like none other. Oh, I want my heart would be broken too. You're like, I'm gonna get what? Yay! And then where is it? Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it would be devastating. I get like a lot of people. Um, there's like a lot of sewing bees in my community, and I'm one of the youngest people. So whenever someone's like, I'm retiring and I don't want to sew anymore, they want to give me stuff. And this is how I've been collecting my Wizard of Oz stuff. So, but yeah, no, I'm like, no, I have a lot, but they always want to give me more. Um, I wouldn't get a domestic machine. That's where I would figure out if I'm going to be doing this for a hobby, business, whatever. Because I even think if you're sewing for more than 4 to 5 hours a day, I don't think you need a domestic. Um, and the reason, and you can call your local domestic place. You can call Brothers, you can call Janome, you can call Fife, you can call Viking. They will all tell you how many hours that you should do at a most on a daily basis. Because especially if these machines are electronic, they built the more you sew, the more lint and dust goes into the machines, and you put more wear and tear on them. The beauty about the industrial machine is that it doesn't wear and tear like a domestic. I would start again with the 5550N, and have the light and heavy feed dogs. I can sew small leathers. I can do wax canvas, cork, and everything on there. Um, Now, when it gets to the thicker things, it becomes more harder to do. But if I'm first starting out, I would start with that. And then I would tell you if the only issue you have is that you want to top stitch nice and go around a bag, I would tell you to then get the 1341 or whatever free arm that in your neighborhood. Keen's is good. There's what Titans. There's so many different Thors. There's so many different versions of it. Speedway. Um, and do that. I would get those two machines. And then I would advise you, if you start working on leathers, you might want to look into a skiver. You can skive by hand. It just won't be as even. And those three machines should be able to set you for life. The 1541 and the 1341 are pretty much the same machine, except one's free arm and one's not. Okay. I have only sewn on a Sellbrite fabricator once, and it was beautiful. Who has one that you might want to look up a couple of his videos is Adam from Country Cowl. He sews on a fabricator. Actually, I think if you look at the Keyed Moth tutorial, he's the one that's doing the tutorial, and he's sewing on the fabricator, and he loves it. And I think you can't get more professional than Joe and Adam. I will look at that. I would also join Sellbrite groups to see if there's any in your neighborhood and go from there and do it. Because for me, it's hard for me to be like, get the fabricator versus the 1541. I sew on the 1541. So in my head, it's like awesome. But I know the Sellbrite one is amazing. Everyone that I've talked to that has one loves it. They're phenomenal machines. They're meant for heavy duty stuff, for boating. Boats has upholstery and leather, vinyl, marine vinyl. It's meant for those stuff. So I would just say, if you have the room to look into an industrial machine, if you're sewing more than 4 to 6 hours a day, just to save your machine, because domestic machines are not supposed to be sewn that much on a daily basis. Like if you're doing like, I don't know, if you're doing like 4 or 5 hours in a week, then you should be fine. But if it's every single day you're sewing 6 hours, you might want to look into something or a little less expensive machine. Like Elle from Clume House, she sews on a Singer heavy duty, the gray one, and she swears by that. And she does leather straps, all this stuff. It all depends on you and what you can make work. To look at different creators and see what they have, and if you like, when they're doing the videos, you like the machines that they're using. Yeah. Save your stand, man, because I don't know. Well, you know what's funny is that I actually got to finally sew with the Singer, the gray one, the heavy duty, and I like that. If I didn't have the domestics I have, I probably would have bought it. I was sewing a bag from Clume House, um, on it on a regular domestic, and then I went to Joann's and they had it out on the table, and I was like, can I sew on it? And it went through a lot of layers. And there's tools. The tools can help you, walking foots, like bigger stitch length, bigger needles, knowing all those stuff helps tremendously. It was a pretty good machine. I think it gets a bad rap in the fabric world, but it's hilarious. There's a couple of creators that I absolutely adore, and that is their number one machine. Um, so I would look at different creators for different things. Like, Sarah swears by the QVP minis. Rocker Baby Scissors swears by it. So I mean, just go through the community and see, because everyone has different things that they fell in love with. It is fun to be on a live. Well, I'm about to go though, because I need to call Steve. I need to check on my son and check on Loki and give him a walk before I start like trying to do all the stuff up here. Oh yeah, the knee lift thing. I kept doing that on the on the baby lock. I was like, wait. Once you get the knee lift, then you're spoiled. You're spoiled. No other machine. You're like, wait, I want a knee lift on everything. Um, I have tape all over. Okay. All right. I hope everyone has a really good day. I should be talking to you guys tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow I'm not sitting on the ground and I'm actually in a location that might be the permanent Captain Logs. So everyone have a really good day, okay? Bye.